How to write the perfect plot twist. Step 1. Misdirection. Step 2. Perfect timing. Step 3.
Make the sheep evil. It will make you 1 million Oscars.
Ninjago. Attack on Titan. Steven Universe. Gravity Falls. What do all of these shows have in common? That's right, a sick-ass plot twist. What do all of these shows also have in common? That's right, I watched them when I was a little kid. See that? That's me and Olympic gold medalist Jordan Burroughs. We're pretty freaking tight now. So let's revisit some of these childhood memories of mine where I was being absolutely sucker punched by some random plot twist in my Saturday morning cartoons. Enjoy. Now, if you're at least a little familiar with Ninjago, there's probably multiple plot twists that come to mind. For example, they're all Legos. What the hell? The Ninjagos are a group of Lego teenage fighters with all their own environmental abilities. Fire, lightning, ice, earth, Sensei Wu, Neon. This is the Ninjagos. I remember like this show and Power Ranger Samurai were like the shit as a kid. Jaden was my favorite character. He was awesome. And, you know, I always loved the red characters of things. The red Power Ranger, Raphael, shit. I liked Peppa Pig more than George, and her shirt was red. But for Ninjago, it was different. The red guy wasn't my favorite. The white guy was. Zane was my favorite Ninjago character. When we're first introduced to Zane, it is clear that he is the most reserved ninja out of the group. But at the same time, Zane is weirdly the most spiritual ninja. The episode we're about to talk about literally starts with him meditating underwater for like 10 minutes straight. Like, that's awesome.
10 minutes! He just broke his own record! The guy's inhuman!
And he can pet fish, like, what can't this dude do? So Zane and the others take this accomplishment as them reaching their true training potential, coming to the conclusion that they don't need to train anymore. However, Sensei Wu tells them that they are in fact lacking mental enlightenment.
There are obstacles that hold us back. Only when you conquer that fear will your heart be free. Only then will you reach your true potential.
Damn, Sensei, you deep as fuck. So then Sensei Wu leaves to capture his like kidnapped son or something. I don't really know. It's not important to the video. So the ninjas head to the town and hang up posters for another subplot that's not important to the video. There are a lot of subplots going on here. However, while hanging up these posters, something catches Zane's eye.
Hey, weirdo! You're making a mess of my storefront!
This beautiful Dutch angle really captures how Zane's acting like a weirdo.
Hey, weirdo!
So what Zane sees is this falcon. As the falcon screeches into the distance, Zane just can't keep his eyes from it. So he pursues the falcon, and the other ninjas follow behind him. First through the desert, and then to the Arctic, and then to the mountains.
I guess good fortune is really far away.
Can you shut the fuck up?
However, the falcon is too freaking fast. One after another, each ninja follows behind. Except the freaking goat, baby.
Where are we going, my mysterious friend?
And the falcon eventually falls out of the sky, letting Zane catch up to it. Dolly zoom, the falcon was a robot. And then the falcon's robot daddy comes out of nowhere to protect his baby, forcing Zane to take it down. Rest in peace, father. Zane then finds out where this falcon has led him.
Where have you brought me, my falcon friend?
To this secret lab of sorts in the middle of the woods. And then Zane finds the falcon's blueprints sprawled out onto the table.
So, this is your home, my mysterious friend.
And shortly after giving a glance to these blueprints, Zane fixes the falcon right up. Don't tell it we killed its robot daddy, though.
You brought me here. But why?
No! It can't be! No! No! The guy's inhuman!
The guy's inhuman! The guy's inhuman! Inhuman!
Wait, why are his blueprints smaller than the falcon's, though? My favorite character, Zane, the white guy. He's a robot! I should have just liked the red guy, dude.
No!
Zane flashbacks. So this guy is Zane's inventor slash dad, alright? At first, Zane is a goofy robot. He goes, how does the spoon work? And then he finally picks up the soup. Like, good job, Zane. And after some more fatherly bonding, the father grows old. And as his last dying wish, the doctor tells Zane to protect those that can't protect themselves.
You were always the son I never had.
And then he switches Zane's memory, making him forget what he just said. And this is why I love Zane, because I can instantly mog after getting amnesia. Zane wakes up after finding his newfound identity, happy, and races to find his team to tell him what he's discovered, only to find them being attacked by these things. I don't really know what they are.
Leave my friends alone! Ninja go! You will not hurt my friends! There is nothing that will hold me back! I know who I am!
Finally unlocking his true potential that Sensei said he was lacking. And then he transforms into this super cool ice avatar state thing and takes down all the tree monsters, and it's really cool. So Zane being a robot makes sense, right? He's calculated and he's cold, because he literally has ice powers. Shut the fuck up! But like I said before we even knew he was a robot, he is the most spiritual ninja out of the group. So it makes it even more interesting that he's the one that turns out to be a robot. And this self-realization is what unlocks his true potential. Being the first out of the human group of ninjas to do that. Like, dude, you're a robot. And you connected with your soul first? Like, come on, guys, get a grip. ChatGPT is gonna take all of our damn jobs. Wow. Wow, that Lego story was pretty freaking crazy, right? Luxor Zero says, I shit myself when that happened. Wow, that must have been pretty smelly. But you know what else is smelly? The rotting corpses of your comrades laying on the battlefield half-eaten. That's
Cause Brody said don't even press the issue. Yellow boogers in my earlobe, I need a tissue. Oh my god, I'm really that guy. Yeah, bitch, I'm outside. La Ferrari popping on a 40 with the 5. 1 ticket, 2 ticket, 3 ticket, 4 million. Put that little Maybach truck in the garage. Little bunny, hop out. You see me at the pop out.
If you were to ask me, Jord, are you an Attack on Titan fan? I would probably say, no. I think this is one of the most beautiful yet heartbreaking narratives I have ever experienced. Not only because of the pure depth of the world or the characters that reside in it, but also because Levi uses cleaning as a coping mechanism. Like, yes, King, represent us dirty children. I love this anime so much. On each rewatch, I discover even more delicious, juicy, but subtle storytelling that just enriches the entire world. And this is such a fun show to rewatch, but I will never forget my first time watching it. Like, coming into the show with absolutely no spoilers is probably the best thing to do, and that's what my best friend Drew did. So while Drew was watching Attack on Titan for the very first time, I was simply rewatching it. But through him, I got to witness somebody's first ever experience of the show. And watching this raw reaction just gave me such a new perspective on the show itself. Specifically, after we watched Season 2, Episode 6, titled Warriors. Recap! So after the events of Utgard, everyone is understandably a bit shaken up. That of course being the reveal of the true identities of Historia and Ymir as lesbians. Titans appear in the wall seemingly out of nowhere. Krista reveals her true name to be Historia Rice, but I'm sure that won't be important later. And also, Ymir is a Titan shifter, by the way. Now, this was the third Titan shifter revealed in the entire show so far. The first being Eren, and the second one being frickin' Scary Annie. So obviously, after this reveal, everyone is a bit on edge. But Reiner is especially edging. I mean, you see, Reiner was bit in the arm by a Titan while protecting his fellow soldier, Connie, which, by the way, is the best character in the show. I freaking love that guy. Eren, being such the caring empath that he is, provides sympathy for Reiner. I mean, they're practically brothers. Training in the Scout Regiment and fighting Titans for the last 3 years together. So Eren recognizes that it's truly odd to see Reiner as shaken up as he is. But I mean, Eren can relate. He himself has been through so much. So Eren tries to console Reiner. And this last line spoken by Eren seemingly appears to be the last straw for Reiner's psyche. The camera pans down from Reiner's distraught face, and we're met with a vision of a puddle, but Reiner's face is still visible, as if he's in two, soldier and warrior. And Bertolt, Reiner's twink best friend, notices this crack in Reiner and tries his best to remedy this.
少しのことだよ。そうか。あともう一息のところまで来ているんだったな。
Which is the first time we hear this dude talk, like, ever so giddily. And all the while this is happening, we learn that the Titans that Ymir had to kill in order to save everyone at Utgard never breached the wall, meaning there was no hole or possible way of entry that the Titans could have possibly gone into.
異常ないってなんだよ。
So, where the hell did they come from? Everyone's confused. Armin's confused, Eren's confused, I'm confused, you're confused. And this is when Reiner grabs Eren's attention.
エレン、ちょっといいか、話があるんだが。なんだよ。俺たちは5年前、壁を破壊して人類への攻撃を始めた。
まさかついに地下を掘る巨人が現れたんだとしたら大変だ。
そうなると位置を特定するのは困難ですね。
俺が鎧の巨人で、こいつが超大型巨人ってやつ。
今はとにかくユミルを安全に運ぶことを考えよう。
Wait, what? So yeah, Reiner and Bertolt reveal their true identities in the background of a shot.
What the fuck?
Adding just to the confusion and abruptness of what Reiner said, it gives you no time to breathe at all. But we're not done, baby, because there's another plot twist. Earlier. After Annie's identity is revealed, they perform a background check on all of the soldiers of the 104th Cadet, which of course hones down the two suspects being Reiner and Bertolt.
ライナー・ブラウンとベルトルト・フーバー。
seeing as they came from the same village as Annie. Which means, during this whole reveal, they already suspected Reiner and Bertolt of being the armored and colossal titans. But the pure delivery of their reveal still leaves everybody so dumbfounded, especially Eren, like he is in denial.
お前さ、疲れてんだよ。ああ、ベルトルト。こうなってもおかしくないくらい大変だったんだろ。
Reiner is then shown literally stuck in between Eren, his fellow soldier, and Bertolt, his fellow warrior. A red flag snaps off its face and creates a still moment in the air. Everything is quiet, yet the tension is tight.
そうか。きっとここに長く居すぎてしまったんだ。
And Reiner's monologue slowly turns from sadness to hatred.
バカな奴らに囲まれて3年も暮らしたせいだ。俺たちはガキで何一つ知らなかったんだ。こんな奴らがいるなんて知らずにいれば俺はこんな半端なクソ野郎にならずに済んだのに。
Reiner pitches his sling as his Titan bite steams and heals. Bertolt barks back at Reiner, asking him what their next move should be. All the while, Eren is quite literally in shock. But then... We then see a shot of Eren crying. His comrades, his brothers, have betrayed him. They are responsible for his mom's death. The reason the Titans killed so many people were because of these two. And Eren, being who he is, will not let this stand. Oh, sorry, I died from the freaking awesomeness of that voice delivery. This is one of my favorite episodes of the show, dude, just for the pure storytelling of the plot twist. It shows such an understanding of it, and then just goes, fuck you, we're gonna do something different to make all the viewers like go crazy, just making the reveal even more surprising. Now, after already seeing this story of Attack on Titan unfold, I inherently come into this event knowing that Reiner and Bertolt are the Colossal and Armored Titan, and I know where Reiner's home is. I know how much he yearns to be there. Essentially, I come into this series already with a more sympathetic lens to these two characters because I'm aware of their backstories. But when you come into this story for the first time, like completely blind, you get fucking pissed.
I'm fucking pissed.
I remember Drew was so mad at these two, bro. Later, after Eren is taken, there's a scene where he exclaims that Reiner and Bertolt are like murderers that deserve no sympathy.
I need you shoving it down my goddamn throat!
Then stop acting like you've got any right to feel sorry for yourself! We're living in a hell you two created! Are you proud of yourselves? You're not one of us! You've never been! You're not even human anymore!
Which, if you know the show, is real fucking funny coming from that guy. And I remember Drew was like, yeah, no, I want Reiner to die, which is just so funny, but also amazing to me. Like, this cycle of hatred is the overall message of Attack on Titan. Seeing somebody overcome by hate and guilt, and actually watching somebody watch this for the first time really put into perspective for me that this show doesn't just show you the cycles of hatred. It makes you literally experience it too. It makes you fucking hate these guys. To the point the gang gets Reiner like this and you're like, yeah, yeah! On rewatches, that emotion just dwindles. So seeing Drew go through this really made me appreciate the show in such a whole new light. The more we sit with Reiner, the more we learn how much of a tragic character he truly is, and how he's quite literally the same as Eren. And now, after finishing the show, Reiner is Drew's favorite character, which is so funny considering he wanted a dude to die like 2 seasons earlier. I watched the first episode of Attack on Titan when I was just a child, but I finished this series last year, my freshman year of college. It's crazy. I quite literally grew up with this show, and I'm so glad I got to witness its story. Letting the betrayal as somebody as admirable as Reiner hurt you and make you hate so much, only for the show to turn around and be like, yeah, no, he's actually not that bad of a guy. Everybody is a victim.
Nah, Reiner. お前、ずっと苦しかっただろ。
It's like, damn. That's a good story right there. So yeah, that is why this twist is my personal favorite from the Attack on Titan series. Wow, that was a crazy plot twist. Surely this show will never throw us for a loop ever again. Surely. Surely it never. Hey, you know who else has a dead mom and also turns into a giant monster? When I was a kid, there was nothing quite like hearing my favorite TV show's theme song start playing and just feeling the sheer panic go down my spine as I sprinted to that couch to try to not miss a second of it. You know, for you, maybe that show was
Water.
There's 104 days.
Now this is a story.
But for me, that sound was always, you know, whenever I heard that "we," I would sprint to that couch to watch Steve. Now, I loved this show pretty much like all my life, but if you asked me in middle school if I liked it, I'd probably be like, Steven Universe? What's that? I like straight stuff. Steven Universe's storytelling lulls you into a sense of comfort with these peaceful slice of life narratives. We follow this passionate mailman's dream of becoming a theater star, seeing him get funding from the mayor, which obviously wasn't a lot, but we see his pure love of the art shine through. The point is, we see these characters' goals and aspirations no matter how normal they are, because then when this happens...
Did they specify alive? I don't think they did. Huh? Jamie. Stephen?
It's really scary. It's a slow burn with its world building, completely basking in the mundane. So when something dangerous does happen, it's even more impactful. Another example actually from Steven Universe comes from the episode Steven the Sword Fighter. After watching a movie with all the gems, Steven is then inspired to learn how to sword fight. Pearl, being the good, cautious mother she is, says, okay, I'll teach you. And they immediately begin training. Pearl and her training partner, Hollow Pearl, go at it for a bit. And after some sick-ass animation, Pearl ends up winning. That's right, baby. That's my goat. Steven now absolutely absolutely hooked, begs Pearl to show him some moves, but after seeing the basics...
Do you see what I'm doing with my feet, Steven?
Parry! Thrust!
Notice where I keep my center of gravity.
Steven gets bored and asks Pearl to show him one of those epic moves from his movie they watch. And that's when Pearl goes on to say,
Steven, these are real sword techniques, not those silly things from your movies. It's about waiting carefully for the perfect moment to thrust.
Wow. Oh no.
Whoopsie daisy. Steven, it's okay. I'm gonna be just... No!
And this is how we, the audience, learn of the concept of poofing through a beautiful example of diegetic world building. Pearl doesn't die, but we and Steven think she does because we don't know about poofing yet. We learn about it along Steven in an organic way. Like seriously guys, they could have just told us through some dialogue. Like imagine they just had Amethyst go like, yeah dude, we poofing shit when we die. Steven Universe is packed to the brim with these types of reveals. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us into what we're going to talk about today. The biggest twist in Steven Universe. So why this plot twist? Why is this the most impactful reveal of Steven Universe? Well, let me frickin' explain that to you then. Season 5, episode 18 starts out innocently enough, with Amethyst casually helping Pearl set up her new phone. Meanwhile, Steven is completely lost in thought.
I watched the leader of the Crystal Gems Rose Quartz shatter Pink Diamond.
So how did a rose quartz with no business being anywhere near Pink Diamond get so close in the first place?
As we can see, this sequence is essentially showing us every plot point that's been involved with Rose and Pink Diamond seemingly up to this point. However, that last shot only happened last episode, meaning Pearl's been a suspect for pretty much a total of couple minutes. Before that, the original mystery was what the hell happened to Pink Diamond. From Jasper, we know Rose did something, and in the episode Back to the Moon, 2 seasons prior to this, Eyeball reveals that Rose Quartz shattered Pink Diamond, meaning that's what we've assumed up until this last point. So basically, we don't know what the hell's going on. So Amethyst leaves to find Pearl a case for her new phone, and Steven, gleaming with anxiety, walks up to Pearl and simply just asks her,
"You remember how Mom shattered Pink Diamond? Well, I was just wondering if maybe you shattered Pink Diamond."
Now, I love how Steven asked this question. It's completely childlike, which makes sense, you know, he is a child. But it's like the way his delivery is so kid-like, but the question is so blunt. That's just, I don't know, it's a cool juxtaposition. And we then see Pearl forcefully cover her mouth, something we've seen her do many times in the show. Of course, forcing herself to not tell Steven the truth. Steven pleads for Pearl to just tell him, but her hands continue to cover her mouth. And that's when Amethyst comes back with the phone case.
I got the phone case.
Oh yes, the phone case. Thank you, Amethyst. Whoops, so clumsy. It's probably safer if I just keep it in here.
With still no answers, Steven disappointedly eats some good old fry bits on the boardwalk, but then he receives a text.
I want to tell you, but I can't.
Steven then immediately rushes back to Pearl, but when Pearl sees that text, she claims that she never even sent it. And we have to talk about this text message for a second. "I want to tell you, but I can't," with the monkey emoji. Now, this is pretty obvious symbolism of like Pearl covering her mouth, right? But if you look into the real secret definition of the monkey, it means speak no evil. You know, like when the monkeys do that thing. Almost like Pearl can't speak the evils of Pink Diamond's death. Determined to get to the bottom of this, Pearl goes to search for her phone in her gem, but it's still missing. And then Steven receives yet another text.
You just sent another one.
Oh, that piano chord, man. It's good. When the chord strikes, her hand is habitually covering her mouth, but she then glances down, undoing the clasp, and touches her gem. This piano chord was a realization.
Steven, I need you to go inside my gem and find my phone.
What? Is it stuck in there or something?
There are certain things I can't tell you, but I can tell you that I need my phone. Please.
So Steven agrees, and Pearl picks him up and sends him into her gemstone.
There's a pearl inside Pearl's pearl?
Where we then arrive at the surface. The surface is organized and clean. This Pearl tries to immediately file Steven, but after telling her he's after her phone, she goes to look for it. And what we find is not the phone, but Pearl absolutely swimming in it. Like, damn, man. But nevertheless, the phone is gone. Surface level Pearl asks if maybe another Pearl took her phone, and when Steven inquires her about multiple pearls...
There's more of you in here?
Oh no, not here. I made sure of that. I'm very good at compartmentalizing everything. That's why I get to be surface, and they have to be put away.
Now this line is very clearly cheekily pointing out how Pearl likes to, compartmentalize and shove things down. Pearl's grief is seen in her obsession with perfection and cleanliness.
Symmetrical means both sides have to be the same! Oh, God.
MC Bear Bear!
And this filing system in her gem shows us a visual representation of this. So Steven must go deeper, past this compartmentalization. This Pearl yet again sends Steven through her gemstone, where he is brought into a deeper layer of consciousness, the memory.
This doesn't look like a mess. It looks like the past.
We then see a shot of past Pearl crying, and Steven tries to console her.
What was she thinking? She can't have a baby.
Well, this is awkward.
Steven eventually presses this Pearl about the missing phone, and as she wipes away her tears, she sends Steven to yet another deeper layer of consciousness, the suppressed memory. Steven looks around the red, barren wasteland absolutely stunned. He trips and finds multiple slain gems on the ground, poofed. Remember, we learned what poofing was earlier in the video. Despite Steven's understandable frustration, he pushes forward and eventually finds the next Pearl, this one in a state of shell shock, and she mumbles out at what she had just experienced.
We're the only ones left. Homeworld. They were all leaving. We thought we'd won. There was a bright light, and everyone was... Why did I do it?
So Pearl was of course talking about the corrupting light that the three diamonds, blue, yellow, and white, launched on Earth. This light corrupted every gem present on Earth except for Pearl, Rose, and Garnet, and Amethyst because she wasn't born yet, and Lapis because she was in a mirror, and Bismuth because she was in a lion. And with Pearl revealing to us that this was the doing of the corrupted light, these gems that we saw earlier are the monsters that Steven's been fighting throughout this entire series. Whether they were a part of the Diamonds or the Rebellion, it didn't matter. They all just ended up as monsters. This Pearl shakes away her shock as she begins to send Steven into a deeper level of consciousness, where we then find her most repressed memory, the truth. Steven is hurled into this dark memory. It's so deep down in Pearl's subconscious, all you can hear are the faint cries of battle, and a desolate background is the only thing that lays out before them. Steven looks down and sees pink shards. After a second, he looks up and notices rose quartz, crying. Steven walks towards his mom, asking her why she's here, but when she looks up, she has blue eyes. A scream off camera catches her attention, and a pearl is revealed on her forehead. Pearl then shows Pink Diamond intact, and this leaves us and Steven even more confused, because we just saw the shards, man. And before we know it, Steven is sent into Pearl's gem yet again, to her most repressed memory. Steven wakes up on Pink Diamond's palanquin, but after hearing faint whispers, he heads off screen to find the source. The camera cuts to Pearl, where she pleads to Rose, suggesting that this is crazy. We cut to Rose, and she nods.
Your status, my purpose. None of it will matter anymore.
I feel like this interaction is very telling of Pearl and Rose's characters. Pearl cautiously lays out everything they could lose, while Rose simply nods and states how excited she is. This blindsided passion we see in Rose is a trait that she holds throughout the entirety of the series, where overall she's well-intentioned, but she's unknowingly hurting her own loved ones in the process. And sometimes knowingly, like when she left Spinel, cause like, what the fuck was that? But anyway, I'm bringing this up because this reveal does the very same thing. A well-intentioned Rose unknowingly hurting her own loved ones in the process. Rose goes on to explain just why she wants to do this. She wants the world to be the Crystal Gems'. She wants to live with humans. She wants to live with Pearl.
Okay, I'm ready.
And as Steven watches on, Rose and Pearl embrace each other. Rose then lets go and starts beaming white. She starts to shapeshift. Her gem flips and she grows tall as she changes into her true form. Pink Diamond. Steven, in absolute awe, takes a step back. We then cut to this wide shot, showing the pure height of Pink Diamond, or as we knew her as, Rose. And the music, oh my god, the music. It's very good, I like it. The hopeful yet eerie music that plays as Pearl and Pink Diamond walk by Steven is so good. The piano always eats in this show, bro. Like this and I'm Still Here, they're so good, dude. Pink Diamond reaches outside of her palanquin, then walks back to Pearl, where she puts out her hand for Pearl to grab something. A single pale rose. Yo, that's the title of the episode. Pearl then grabs the rose and tucks it into her hair. Pink Diamond then creates some fake gem shards, looking so convincing it makes Pearl visibly uncomfortable. Pink then swallows the fake shards as Steven continues to witness everything. And I like this little detail of Rose swallowing the shards. You know, in my mind, it's like what little time she had with humans, she learned what eating was and, you know, learned to eat the shards so when she gets poofed, they can just, you know, plop out of her. But you know, gems don't know how to eat, so it would make sense if she just secretly learned that from some random ass humans. You know, it's cool to think about. Is that just a headcanon? Pearl starts to unsheath Rose's sword, preparing for what's to come, but is then interrupted. Pink Diamond makes her last order as a diamond and orders Pearl to cover her mouth so nobody can know of this. So the very reason why Pearl forcefully covers her mouth every time she wants to tell the truth is because of Rose. Rose leaves the palanquin as Pearl follows suit. All the while, Steven is forced to stare on, but Steven's gaze is interrupted by Pearl. After apologizing to Steven, this Pearl finally hands us the phone. The very phone we've been missing this entire time. And Pearl shapeshifts into her disguise. Pearl reaches down to grab the sword, and as she does that, the rose falls out of her hair. Steven, with the phone, begins to be sent back to the real world. And as it's happening, we get even more glimpses into Pearl's traumatic memories one last time. Pink Diamond's fake death, the war memories, the diamond attack, Rose's pregnancy, and finally her real death. And Steven then finally plops back into the real world.
I know.
I wanted to tell you for so long.
And I need you to know that every moment you love being yourself. That's me, loving you and loving being you. Because you're going to be something extraordinary. You're going to be a human being.
Dad! Dad! I want my dad! I just want my dad.
Sometimes, I wonder if she can see me through your eyes. What would she think of me now?
Well, I think you're pretty great.
Us Worst Gems stick together, right?
That's why we're the best.
We're on the outskirts of the possible, following trickles to who knows where. Everyone's looking to me for answers. I can't stand it. It's so hard for me to just exist in the first place, Steven. I want to love being alive. I want to love that there are so many possibilities. But I'm the one with disability, so I've got to be our guide.
That's true, but maybe instead of thinking of all the things that could happen, let's just pick the thing we want to happen and do that.
Lion!
Ooh. God damn. That one got emotional. A George Steven Universe video is like bread and butter. It's classic. But we still have one more plot twist to go. When this show was airing, it was huge. It was probably the biggest event of my childhood. I mean, like, you could talk to anybody on the playground during recess and they'd be like, yeah, bro, I hope Dipper kills that triangle piece of shit. Here is the final plot twist. Gravity Falls, man, what an amazing show. And it's so short, it's like 2 seasons long. And those 2 seasons invoke such a fun, charming sense of childlike wonder mixed with a bizarre mystery plot. Gravity Falls is a show known for its iconic mysteries, like The Bill Cipher wheel. You notice it for a second, and then you'd rewind your little cable box TV remote to try to like get that little frame. Oh, it gives us so much, yet so little. In the middle is the triangle guy, Bill Cipher, that's been antagonizing our characters the entirety of the show.
You're next! Cool, we're next!
On the sides, there's symbols and codes that you can actually decipher. And in the middle, you see symbols from characters of the show. Some you recognize, but some you can only speculate. Is Wendy Ice because she's cool? This is obviously Dipper, right? Is Mabel the star or the llama? Is she both? I don't know, damn it. Oh, it's Pacifica, just wearing Mabel's sweater. Okay. Alex Hirsch and the wonderful crew that worked on this show so obviously oozes passion for it, right? I mean, they stuffed this show with reveals. The best memories I have about this show were probably watching and reading all the speculation videos and theories out there at the time. Like, was Robbie a zombie? Why is Gideon's hair like that? And my most favorite, was it even real? And Alex Hirsch was just really good at stoking the flames of this speculation. Whether that be fake leaks to throw off viewers.
And Alex created a fake Reddit account and threw it up on the internet, took it down, and really buried it. But it got spread throughout the internet, and all of a sudden the internet now believes that. They were like, okay, thank God. Now they believe it's McGucket. Okay, they're off the scent.
Or even ending the show with a real-life mystery scavenger hunt where you have to hunt the Bill Cipher statue. Point is, it was a damn fun time to be a Gravity Falls fan, okay? One of the best bonding experiences I had with my siblings was just forcing them to watch stuff, which probably wasn't as enjoyable for them. And one of the shows I made them watch with me was Gravity Falls. And with all that being said, this leads us to the biggest mystery of Gravity Falls. The biggest plot twist from my childhood. Who wrote the freaking journals? Season 2, Episode 11 starts out with a very pretty nighttime shot overlooking the town of Gravity Falls, but then a bright light beams. Its source being the Mystery Shack basement, and here's where our guy Stan is activating this portal thingy he's been tinkering with since the end of Season 1. We also know Stan is pretty secretive about this portal. We know pretty much nothing about it except for that when it sucked up his mug and like his hat and stuff, it got sucked into Rick and Morty, so, you know, that's pretty freaking scary. But we do know he had to collect all 3 of the journals written by this mysterious author to activate it. So if you don't know about the journals, they were pretty crucial to the series. Basically, the journals are like a documented source of all the weird stuff that's going around Gravity Falls. And those 3 journals were written by one person, a person with 6 fingers. Dipper had a strong connection to these books when he came to Gravity Falls for the summer. He used them to discover various mysteries around the town. And basically, that's the hijinks of the show, plus Mabel being silly and like some shit in reverse or something. They do that a lot. Stan sets a timer starting at 18 hours, and after carefully reading the instructions,
Can it, Poindexter!
Stan finally activates the machine, and once it powers on, the town of Gravity Falls begins to float. Apparently gravity doesn't fall, this town's a goddamn lie. The next morning, Mabel and Dipper wake up around 7 a.m. and decide to have some good old family time with their grunkle Stan. Oh, they love each other so much, nothing will ever change this. Nothing!
I tell you, it's unnatural for siblings to get along as well as you do.
Don't worry, we've still got plenty of summer left to drive each other crazy.
No future conflict will arise. You're crazy. Stan then tenses up and tries to tell Mabel and Dipper something, but he then cuts himself off.
I'm gonna go refresh my soda. Enjoy it while you can, Stan. I'll find out sooner or later. Today's the day. What is that, a ladybug? What the? Oh no!
Target secure. Take the house.
So Grunkle Stan gets arrested. He gets put away by the pigs. And speaking of pigs, yes, they even got Waddles. So Stan's arrest was initiated by these 2 dudes, which we've seen them before. They were in this zombie episode.
I thought you got eaten by zombies.
We survived. Barely.
I used Trigger as a human shield. He cried like a baby.
What? Hey! Not in front of the special ops guys.
So why is Stan getting arrested? Well, Agent Powertop over here tells us that Stan is the prime suspect of 300 gallons of missing waste. Mabel and Dipper begin to plead to the agent couple, saying that they know Stan is innocent.
Listen, kid, we've been watching your family all summer and we've seen some disturbing things. But nothing as dangerous as what your uncle is hiding. Somewhere hidden in this shack is a doomsday device.
Damn, man. That's probably like sensitive government information, and you're just like giving it to that kid. Like, she's gonna post that on her Snapchat story or something, dude.
For once, I'm actually innocent.
So Stan gets put into freaking clinker, and after getting his mugshot taken, it's time for the interrogation under the charges of theft, conspiracy, and possession of a dangerous weapon. Oh, so when you're talking to Stan, it's a dangerous weapon, but when you're talking to the kids, it's a doomsday device. You just wanted to scare the kids, you evil motherfucker. And then Stan goes, I'm guilt-innocent. I mean, guilty. Can I get my phone call? So Stan calls Soos, and Stan instructs Soos to guard the vending machine in the mystery shack with his life.
Time for a repair guy to become a repairman.
Sir, your junior Yum Yum Baby Time kiddo meal?
Just put one in my mouth.
Meanwhile, Dipper and Mabel are discussing ways to clear Stan's name. And that's when Mabel gets the idea that the security cameras at the mystery shack should actually clear Stan. Because Stan said he was stalking the mystery shack earlier. I forgot to mention that.
Last night I was restocking the gift shop. I swear!
See, look, there you go. So they have a plan to clear Stan. Now they just have to get out of this armored van. Oh shit, that was actually that was pretty easy. Okay. Dipper and Mabel then make it back to their mystery shack like that one Tyler the Creator clip. With only 5 hours left on the countdown, Stan is troubled with how to get out of government custody when another gravity anomaly happens, only this time stronger. And that's when Stan gets an idea.
Was it a rock or is it a face? I think it's a metaphor.
After making it back to the mystery shack, Dipper and Mabel find where Stan keeps his security tapes, and after reviewing the footage, the twins end up finding the evidence they need to clear Stan's name. He's innocent. Wait, where are you going? Stan? Stan? Stan!
God, hot Belgian waffles! Wait, I'm alone. I can swear for real! Son of a...
But then Dipper finds some pretty damning evidence against Stan, or Stetson, or Hal, or Andrew 8-Ball Alcatraz. Basically, this guy has a lot of fake identities. But why? Why would this man have so many identities? Why is the government after him? What is he hiding? Stan Pine's dead after brakes cut in deadly car crash? What? They even threw in a dolly zoom. What a beautiful way to make us as a viewer shift our perspective on Stan, you know? Immediately your mind starts racing. Like, did this dude kill somebody? Why does he have so many fake identities? Why is he hanging with these kids, man? What's going on? We already knew Stan as a shady grifter, so this, like, makes sense, but it just completely changes his whole intentions. So his character goes from charming and comedic to downright creepy, almost. With only 15 minutes left on the timer, and after finding a code that leads to the vending machine door, Dipper and Mabel make their way to the Doomsday Device. We then cut back to Stan, where he is about to be airlifted to Washington. But just as Agent Powertop is about to unlock his handcuffs, boom, an anomaly happens. The camera locks on the Stan as he spins around the cell. He steals the keys from Agent Powertop by doing a sick-ass flip that breaks the entire chair somehow. Hell yeah, and then he grabs the keys, instantly unlocking himself. Damn, Stan, kind of freaky for that. Stan pushes his way out of the cell and escapes, not before stealing one of the agent's wallets. Once he's out, Stan pays the cab driver $100 to drive to the mystery shack, and the dude accepts.
He's getting away! Obviously, follow that cab!
Shit, man, I don't know if he's good or evil, but I was pretty cool. I love that they play this little moment right after the Mabel and Dipper scene, because it immediately shows how smart Stan is and how he's actually been pretty smart throughout the entirety of the series. But now there's this little thought nagging at the back of our minds, like, what are this dude's true intentions? So we cut back to the vending machine where Soos is guarding it with his life. Unfortunately though, that's where Mabel and Dipper need to go exactly.
Promise Stan I would guard this with my life.
I'm sorry, Soos.
Holy shit, they decided to jump him quick. These kids just started throwing hands immediately, dude. Damn. And that's when Dipper manages to open the vending machine, leading him, Mabel, and now Soos down Stan's mysterious bunker. As they enter down the tunnel, a 6-finger handprint is imprinted on the cracked wall. They enter the lab with 5 minutes left on the timer. Dipper questions why Stan has this entire lab under the shack and why he would hide it from them. But Mabel notes that Stan still loves them. Look, he's got a photograph of them. That clears his name. That's when Dipper learns that Stan is in possession of the 2 other journals.
Impossible. The other 2 journals?
Once again, Stan's innocence is up for questioning. Dipper asks if Stan maybe stole these books from the author. But once they line up all 3 books together, they discover something pretty damning.
I was wrong the whole time. The machine was meant to create knowledge, but it is too powerful. I was deceived, and now it is too late. The device, if fully operational, could tear our universe apart!
It's the final countdown, just like they always sung about!
Dipper, Mabel, and now Soos rush to shut down the machine. They turn on the manual override and reveal the shutdown switch.
This all stops now!
Don't touch that button!
Stan pleads for Dipper to not press the button, desperately trying to explain the situation, but the machine interrupts.
Oh no! Brace yourselves!
With Mabel being the closest one to the button, Dipper instructs her to press it. Stan tries to intervene, but Soos constrains him, and Dipper joins in. Where, like, Loki gets a little violent.
Go! Come on! Mabel, press the red button! Shut it down!
No, you can't! You gotta trust me!
Like, damn, man, Dipper was probably mad as shit after that shove. I know I would be. Stan yells to Mabel, pleading for her to trust him, and as we cut to her, she's crying. A blast pins his arms in between a pipe of the machine. This gives Dipper a chance to interrupt, saying whatever Stan spews out could be a lie.
Look into my eyes, Mabel! You really think I'm a bad guy?
He's lying! Shut it down now! He's lying! Shut it down now!
Mabel hovers her hand over the button and takes one last glance at Stan.
Uncle Stan?
6, 5.
I trust you.
The countdown hits 0 and the portal beams with light. Each of our characters overwhelmed with a scorching light. The camera cuts to black. The machine finally deactivates and the town that was once floating falls. Gravity falls. The machine, although destroyed, seems to have worked. Whatever Stan wanted to do, he achieved it. The man walks over to a journal. The 6 fingers on the front cover perfectly matching his. Guys, this is freaking it, I think.
Who is that?
The author of the journals. My brother.
Stanley, give it back!
You left me behind, you jerk! It was supposed to be us forever! You ruined my life!
You ruined your own life! Are you all
You care more about your dumb mysteries than your family? Well, then you can have them!
Stanley! Stanley, help me! Stanley! Stanley! Do something! Stanley!
Things aren't gonna stay frozen this way. It's part of growing up. Things change. Summer ends. Mabel, wait! I didn't mean it like that! Mabel, come back!
Stanford? Stanford, come back! I didn't mean it! I tell you, it's unnatural for siblings to get along as well as you do.
Stan had a fallout with his brother that caused a literal and metaphorical dimensional rift between them. I feel as if this show is about the love and loss of siblinghood, and an ending perfectly interlocking with its themes in mind. Stan dedicates the rest of his life to rescuing Ford. He assumes his identity, took over the Mystery Shack as a tourist trap, and spent 30 years trying to bring his brother back. Stan and Ford's relationship directly parallels Mabel and Dipper's. After this reveal, and at the beginning of Weirdmageddon, the same rift that originally causes Ford and Stan to separate also causes Mabel and Dipper to separate. Stan was worried that Ford would leave him behind at this prestigious school, and Mabel worried Dipper would leave her behind to stay with Ford. Stan and Ford stand as a cautionary tale for Mabel and Dipper, showing the dangers of growing apart and the estrangement it can lead to, leading to Mabel and Dipper eventually reconciling with each other and being reunited with each other by the end of the show. It's a burst of beautiful and weird and charming energy that I just freaking love, man. And I feel like this plot twist just hammers in that despite all the weirdness in the world, true love for another sibling will always prevail. You know, unless your sibling's like racist or something, I don't know.
Oh, Jordan, no. You love plot twists.
Oh shit. Each of these plot twists recontextualizes their respective shows and only adds more emotions and stake to the overarching narrative. Plot twists, when done bad, are really bad. But when it's done right, it can make you only more invested in the show. We learn that Zane is a robot, forever changing how he views himself, and he doesn't break down, he accepts himself. We learn Reiner and Bertolt are the armored and colossal titans, bringing you down this emotional roller coaster of hatred, only to make you, the viewer, later on realize that it's much more intricate than that. Steven's realization is the final piece of the puzzle for his acceptance and self-love. And when it's revealed that Stan was just trying to bring his brother back, the stakes and the dynamics of the story are completely changed. All of these plot twists were incredibly gripping, and I'm so glad I got to discover them when I was just a child. And I hope this video really shedded some appreciation on each of these pieces of media, because I love them all, man, and I just have such good memories of watching them and just being like, what the heck? That was crazy. I hope that video could do that for you guys. Let me know if it did, and thank you guys so much for watching. This was such a fun experience that I had, just, you know, spending the last month basically rewatching all of these shows and just writing this video. It was so much fun, but it was also a lot of work, so please subscribe. And I also have a Patreon, and give me lots of money on there, okay? All right, that's it for now, guys. Bye-bye.